Ja, herzlich willkommen zu einer neuen Ausgabe SI Talk und bei mir ein gern gesehener Gast, Andrew Lee Smith, er ist CEO und President von East Africa Metals. Die haben in der letzten Zeit auch einige neue Nachrichten gehabt und auf die gehen wir auch jetzt einmal ein. Ich habe ihn schon lange nicht mehr gesehen. Ich glaube, wir haben. Andrew, do you know when we do our last interview? This
Uh, I think it
was
was in the
January.
fall of early fall of 2019, maybe September.
I know exactly you shut down the old office.
Yes, that's right.
Uh, and we meet us in our in my hotel room.
Okay.
Um,
Well, we shut down the office in February with the
so I don't know, but
yeah. I'm trying to recall. It's been probably more than a year. Well, I know it's been more than a year. I
yeah,
was thinking
but
last fall.
yeah, it was a long time ago. So,
Yeah.
but you have a really interesting progress. First, before we go to the more in detail, you work in Ethiopia, and there was we call it, or in the newspaper call it war. Is this something what you get it affected? Is it in your area or close to your area?
Yes, the legal action, as the Ethiopian government called it, took place in Tigray, and Tigray is the region where we are. So yes, it definitely had an impact on us. But the latest information that we have is that things are back under control right now, and they're busy making some repairs. It was a unexpected thing, and it erupted very quickly. But it's also been dealt with, I think, effectively. Um, Prime Minister Abe in Ethiopia, as I'm sure you know, won the Nobel Peace Prize last year. So I think his reaction to this, while the military and the use of force was done quickly, their focus was on resolving this issue quickly and making the humanitarian impact lower. So I think that it was well handled by the Ethiopians, swift and decisive, and they're now back in control of the region. And it will probably represent at the final analysis about a 6 week interruption.
Okay. So, but
All of our people are safe. That's been our focus, of course. There has been some minor problems with infrastructure, some roads. I think there was a bridge that's needs to be rebuilt, but they're in cleanup right now, and we expect we're waiting for the government to give us the all clear to move back in.
okay, this is the first negative impact. The second negative impact is the coronavirus. How coronavirus is in Ethiopia? What was here the point?
Well, it's the travel restrictions have really made it a challenge for us. Our plans were in February. Well, two things: the Chinese New Year, which was early January last year, um, was the date at which, after which, the development was supposed to be initiated on two of our projects in Ethiopia. But of course, coming back in February was the start of the pandemic, and we've not really been able to get any progress on that going forward. Since February, it's really interfered with our plans and disrupted our exploration and our development schedule. Um, However, that too seems to be resolved. It wasn't a problem with the pandemic itself, but more the travel restrictions that made it next to impossible to move back and forth and get equipment moving in. We've been Our Chinese partners have been moving forward with the engineering work and the procurement and construction plans. So they put the time to good use, and we're in preparation right now, just waiting for Ethiopia to resolve their COVID restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
It won't be so much a problem for the Chinese to move their people in. But moving in and out and back and forth with at the moment is next to impossible due to the travel restrictions and the quarantine.
It's the same when I will go to Canada. At first, I must stay 2 weeks in quarantine, and then I can go and do some business. It makes for me no sense. So that's the same. Like I cannot go in and go out.
Well, just for an example, they're getting ready to soften their restrictions now. But for me to fly from Vancouver to Ethiopia normally would take 36 hours. Due to the COVID restrictions on this trip through connections, it would take me between 7 and 10 days to get to Ethiopia.
No, it makes no sense.
Yeah, and then when I turn around, it's back out 7 to 10 days to get back to Canada, and then 14 days quarantine. So one trip to Ethiopia would have cost us a month and a half of quarantine and shutdown. So we've been operating. We still have an in-country staff. They're managing things, and we're communicating with them. They're making preparations for the exploration program, which will start as soon as we get going. It's a fairly comprehensive drilling program that's going to explore new targets. And we believe there's good potential for another discovery based on some of the targets that will be tested this year. So those arrangements are in place. We're simply waiting to get the drillers in. Our drilling company again had been active in the region, but they've had to shut down again as well. So everybody's sitting here poised. Our Chinese development partners, our exploration team, our drillers are ready to go and waiting for a thumbs up from the Ethiopian government that everything's fine to return and that the travel restrictions aren't going to keep us in quarantine for long periods of time.
Okay, to diversify a little bit this thing, you have the one. This is the old project what you developed now with the Chinese group. It's a contract. Just 1.5 years ago you announced this. And they are now, and this is go forward to production. This is the one thing. The second is
the 2 mines, Matabula and Datambuk, will both be developed in parallel now. The original plan was developed in a series, but the plans have been changed now due to certainly the commodity markets. And it's in our best interest to get both of these online as quickly as possible. So in our conversations with our development partners out of Beijing, the plans now are to develop them both simultaneously.
Okay,
so that's 2 of those projects.
Yeah, and is there any delay? Then before I think it was planned that it's go in production 21 or 22, I think.
Well, it's looks like it's a 12 to 18 month construction period. So of course we were prepared. We actually, after the Chinese New Year in February this year, was supposed to initiate the development, and of course the timing couldn't have been worse. So the door's been shut. We're ready to go. We got an 18-month procurement, 12 to 18 months. So we can get up and going. Yes, we might see some cash flow by the end of 2021.
Okay. So this is the one thing. The other one is you're coming up with a new contract for the Harvest Projekt.
Yeah.
I think that was the Harvest Projekt. Oh?
Correct.
Yeah, that was 1 week or 2 weeks ago.
Sorry, Joe. We have 2. Let's go with Ethiopia first.
Yeah.
The Harvest Projekt is the third project in Ethiopia. We're in discussions right now. Those discussions have bogged down based on this latest issues in the Tigray region. But those talks were advanced when that started, and we will resume those talks as soon as there's some clarity on the timing issue there. But there is interest from more than one development group for Harvest. So it's a question of getting the proper deal in place to get that one going as well.
Mm-hmm. So, and then you have also the exploration, what you talked before, that potential for new discoveries.
Correct. Correct.
So that's more the 3 things in Ethiopia, I think, or is it?
Well, there's three development projects, mining licenses in place, all the permits in place, ready for development, ready projects. There's 3 of them: Matabula, Datambuk, and Tarakamiti, which is in the Harvest Projekt. Outside the mining licenses, we have exploration rights that sit outside the mining licenses. Those still are retained by EAM, those rights. So our exploration program will be directed at targets that we have generated that are ready for a drill program, but that have not been tested yet. Some of those targets are very impressive with respect to their geophysical signatures and their position along trend with other already known mineralization. So we believe that it's going to be a successful exploration program. We believe that it will increase the resource base of the Harvest of all three of those projects. And we expect that in the next 12 months, we'll see that exploration program completed and additional resources identified, and the resource base for the operations expanded in the next 12 months.
I think it was in our last interview that you say that you already paid for some exploration program, but you cannot do this program. Then there was the Chinese group step in and bought these two projects and bring it to development. But is this program what we talked last time?
That is the program, and we segregated capital a year ago for this program, and that capital is still segregated and in place to fund the exploration program. So we're ready to go, and I think that we have some geophysics that needs to get done. We have quotes in place with Ethiopian contractors to begin that. Of course, they're in a better position to move more freely and get things done in the field than we will be until the COVID restrictions on international travel are addressed. So the first phase will probably be getting the Ethiopian geophysical crews out working, and we hope that that'll begin realistically now, I think, in January. The Christmas holiday is coming on us quickly, and the Ethiopians. I'm not sure if your viewers are aware, but Ethiopia runs on a different calendar. They have their own calendar, and it's about 7 days different right now between the Caesarean calendar, the calendar that we use and they use. So their Christmas break begins a week later. And finish a week later. So we have 2 Christmas breaks here that need to get through. But once those are through, this will also give the government some time to complete the mission in the Tigray region. So we suspect that in coming out of the Christmas holidays in the new year, that we'll be getting ready to get on the ground. And the first step will be the geophysics.
Okay, that's good. So we get a news flow from this field program, and also then drilling and hopefully a new discovery. But on the other hand, you have 3 developed projects. And this is, I think, normally enough for one company. Then you have really three different projects with mining license and so on. There's many companies that are not have this.
And we have a carried interest on all 3 of those projects. This is the sort of revised business plan that the approach that we're taking. Something that we've been considering for a while, but we think we're right now. I would say shifting gears. We are moving out of pure exploration into carried interest on development programs with cash flow in our future, but. Our intention now is to continue to do what we're good at, what the market expects us to do, which is to reinvest in exploration and provide value to the company and our shareholders through our ability to do that. And this exploration program coming up in Ethiopia will be a demonstration of that, I believe, in that we will not be going to the markets to fund it. We expect that through the transactions that we're making and the cash payments that are being made to us. Through the closing of these transactions in Ethiopia and in Tanzania, and the money that we've segregated for the exploration program, that we're in good shape. And we believe that that's going to be the hallmark of our work going forward. That we'll be using cash flow, not private placements or other revenue, other dilutive transactions to fund the further exploration, further growth.
I think this is very important, especially for the European one, and I don't like dilution. But this, you recommend Tanzania. So beside Ethiopia, you have Tanzania. So, and how's the things looks there in Tanzania?
We've announced that deal. We've come to terms with an agreement. Anybody who's been following the company is the discovery in Tanzania was made in 2011. We spent about $60 million there drilling off a 1,000,000 ounce deposit. Unfortunately, due to some illegal mining and other things, the project got tangled up in legal complications, which prevented us from moving it forward. And those are becoming chronic and a real challenge. And indeed, I think our shareholders and to a certain extent our management as well lost some faith in the ability to get that project up and running. However, election years are interesting things in African nations, and election year this year in Tanzania, this issue became known to the senior government officials, and in the last 3 months since September, the state attorney has stepped into the legal issues and sorted them out with us, and we have completed the agreements with a local Tanzanian mining company to pick up the project and move forward with it. And once again, this is the sort of the unveiling of our new structure on these deals, something that we'll try to keep going forward. In that it's a little bit different than a regular streaming sort of company, like the business models of wheat and precious metals and Sandstorm and some other companies. We're mimicking that, but the difference is that where those companies go out and purchase their streams, we actually find our streams ourselves. And so as we back out of these deals, and in Tanzania, what we have in place is what we call a net streaming royalty. So the streaming royalty comes in our ability and the commitment for us to be able to acquire 30% of the production of the gold in Tanzania at cost plus 15%. So of the production that comes through, we don't have any direct interest, although we have a collegial interest with our partners there to help and support the program. We have no responsibilities for the operation, but we do have access to the end product. Right now, the projected costs in Tanzania for an ounce of gold, operating costs are about $550 per ounce. So, and same with the other projects in the $600-700 all-in cost per ounce is what we would pay for any ounces that we get out of Ethiopia and on the net profit side. So we're excited about that. We think it's an interesting plan. It gives us not only cash flow but also physical metal that we'll be able to use, and again gives us more options with respect to funding our programs going forward. We will be opening the door to work with metals traders on handling actual doré product and finding an appropriate way to maximize the interest that we have out of that.
I see in the press release that you get payments of $2 million in cash.
Yes.
Is this already done?
No, we're waiting for final government approval, which we are hoping to wrap up in the next few days. But there is a process there. The government has gotten involved. As a matter of fact, they've become a party to this agreement simply because it took some government decisions to move in and resolve the legal issues. So with that situation, I think it protects us in a very strong way to have the government effectively as a signing partner on this agreement. We feel very confident about that. However, we're waiting for one more signature right now from a government document that we hope to get in the coming days, and that will wrap it up and trigger the exchange of capital and the mining license.
And when we can expect the production from this mine?
Well, it's an interesting situation, and it's not crystal clear right now. I need to get over there, of course, and get my boots on the ground. But PMM, which is a fairly substantial and diverse company in Tanzania, both with mining operations, construction operations, equipment sales, those sorts of things. They'll be moving the project forward on our behalf. They've already been on site with doing some work, preparing a tailings recovery program. This was part of the legal entanglement, was the lack of clarity about who actually had the rights. PMM believed they had the rights to be on the project. There was but they did not own the license. We did, and that's what caused this a third-party legal problem. But PMM and ourselves have resolved these issues along with the government. The legal issues have been funded, but my impression is that project is ready to start the tailings recovery project within the next few weeks. Mm-hmm. So it's not a large amount of tailings, but and we don't have a specific number on it. But the illegal mining that's gone on there since 2012 produced the tailings, and the recoveries of the local artisanal miners were not that good. So that is the tailings that we're targeting initially, but we could see cash flow in short order here out of Tanzania.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And the real production from the mine itself, when we can this expect?
I'm sorry?
Not the real production from the mine, so not only the tailings.
We're looking at probably a 12 to 18 month build out on that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But you have nothing to do with the money what you need for the production and so on. That's all PMM coming up with.
Correct. They pay 100% of the capital. We give them 100% of the project, but we retain the rights to acquire 30% of the production at cost plus 15%. So all the capital costs that get injected into the company into the project will be coming from PMM. There will be no capital recovery for us, which is what makes the streaming deal quite reasonable. In that, what that really does is one of the chronic issues with net profits interest that juniors come into is what defines a profit. And of course, there will be future development, and in a situation where we are relinquishing control of our projects to operators, it's important that we understand how the cash flow is going to come. And there's always some tension and a push and a pull between an operator and a partner on what defines a profit. For example, is our partner's CEO's Lamborghini, is that a mining expense or not? I'm not suggesting that that's the case, but in other cases that I've been involved with, the definition of profit included a lot of premium materials that were going into the salaries and expenses of people. So that's always really a problem. What this gold streaming deals resolves all that. We know what their operating costs are. We can go to their tax returns. We know the royalties they're paying to the Tanzanian government. Those are government documents that will be scrutinized and stand scrutiny. So we'll have a very clear idea through independent means already what the production is, and we will have the right to buy 30% of those ounces at whatever their costs were, plus 15%, which should recover the administration. So that takes all of that sort of debate and the hard feelings that can arise from them out of the picture, and makes it a much more simpler thing. And once again, gives us the right to acquire physical gold.
Okay, when we come to the stock market and to the share price, it's very interesting that the share price is doing well in the last few weeks or so, something, especially also with the news flow what we have out of Ethiopia. But what are what do you expect are the three major drivers for the share price in the next 6 to 9 months?
Well, it's interesting where we stand right now is sort of on a threshold between becoming a mining company and remaining an exploration company. So the drivers for creating value and share price appreciation are quite different in both of those arenas, if I can say. Exploration investors are more speculative, they're risk tolerant, they're interested in seeing the money of the company go to drilling programs and discoveries and growth. The mining investors are looking at earnings and quarterly operational analysis and those sorts of things to make their judgments. We're going to continue to straddle that line. However, we are going to remain an exploration company. The problem with presenting ourselves or trying to invent ourselves as a mining company is relative to Newmont and Barrick and the rest of those companies that trade on the senior exchanges. We would be a very, very small fish in a very, very big pond. Mm-hmm. I think the market generally and our shareholders generally would have the right to question such a move simply because our current shareholder base are all recognize the company as a successful exploration company. And to all of a sudden one day put up your hand and say, okay, we're going to become a successful mining company now. I don't think the market would, I believe the market would be justified in being skeptical until they saw some of the results. So this really allows us to access the production and the cash flow without having to build up the kind of staff and business culture that would be focused operationally, stick to our knitting, as they would say, do what we're known for and what we're good at, but that establish the company in a situation where we're no longer going to have to dilute and not only non-dilutive, but there are options that become available to us once we have cash flow with respect to reducing our shares outstanding. So non-dilutive and anti-dilutive initiatives, I think, are what's going to drive the stock, and that would be exploration and discovery coming out of Ethiopia on these programs over the next 12 to 18 months. It's a very robust program that should be very comprehensive with respect to the targets that we have. So if there are discoveries to be made out there, we fully expect that this program will achieve that. In Tanzania, we're looking at hopefully a short fuse to cash flow coming out of this tailings facility, and actually some encouraging developments there. There's not much exploration potential around the Tanzanian project itself, but we do have nearby properties that have great potential as well. So our exploration activities in Tanzania at the moment are unclear, but once the deal is complete and signed off and we've been able to establish a relationship and get over there on the ground with our partners, I think that you'll see a growth plan come out of there as well.
But you own in Tanzania the exploration projects. Is it not part of the deal with the PMM?
Well, actually, that deal is, but the same rules apply. We would be accessing on any new discoveries the same 30% right to acquire. I should say that it's been a very collaborative effort with PMM, and we are folding some of our in-country staff into their operation. So the operation going forward, I think the idea is to bring our expertise in under the PMM umbrella, such that PMM really has a mining focus. And I get back once again to the business cultures and how different they are. So there's really been a really great relationship developing so far through these negotiations, where we will guide the exploration as that is our expertise, and expertise that PMM is maybe lacking at the moment. And we'll benefit from the results of that. So, but it will be under the PMM umbrella. You won't see East Africa retaining separate rights as we do in Ethiopia, where all of our transactions so far have dealt with the disposition and sale of the mining licenses, while we retain the exploration rights outside the mining license. It's a different story with the Tanzanian establishment, in that all of the rights have been held within a company, Canaco Tanzania Limited, and we are selling the company to PMM. So all of those rights will go. Part of their concern was about the exploration, and that's why we agreed that we will be there to support it. They've actually invited me to be on a management committee in their company, despite the fact that we have no interest, and I've agreed to do so. And they're bringing in some of our experienced staff to work continue their work on the project under the PMM umbrella. So we're very happy about that. Part of the obligation that we have as a company is skills transfer, and to be able to establish a joint venture with a substantial, well-established mining company in Tanzania, and having the government as a signatory to our agreements, I think puts us in very solid position.
But in general, we can say you set up your company as an exploration company, and if you find something, so what you do in the past, you spin it out or sell it to a third party. They make the construction, they spend them, you create, on one hand, they carry interest so that you get really, you're part of the team or the production, or on the other hand, like PMM, you get a kind of royalty stream that you get 30% of the gold, what they find, and you get it to a reasonable price. With very competitive price, and you get also access to the physical metal. Is it so in the nutshell, so that you can do what you are really good, that is finding some new targets, finding new projects, new mines, and other people should do the real stuff to make from a project a mine?
Yes. It's what we're supposed to do, is it not? As an exploration company, we're supposed to make the discoveries, and we build our company around establishing the capability to do that. But what we don't do is we don't pretend to be operators of mining operation.
It's a different mindset. You cannot do both normally.
Exactly. No, if you look around, I mean, the mining companies used to be that way back when, but the seniors have reduced their own exploration and have focused their growth programs on acquisition of discoveries, and it goes down to risk. The more senior companies are less risk tolerant than the exploration company shareholders, who bravely, in many ways, and provide the venture capital which establishes this. I think that it should also be understood is that these 3 mining licenses that we've acquired in in Ethiopia, are the first mining licenses to be granted under the new Mining Act. We will be the first foreign-owned company in production in the country. We are opening up a very promising area for exploration that we now see Newmont has shown up. We now see Sun Peak has shown up. So we're pioneering in these areas, and these areas are the areas where you find the ability to make cheap, quick discoveries. Part of our business plan, and one of the most important things that we can look at if you want to boil our business plan down to brass tacks, is if you consider the 2.8 million ounces that we have in resources that have discovered in Tanzania and Ethiopia together, our total all-in cost per ounce of discovery is $30 US per ounce. The average global price for discovering an ounce of gold is $147 an ounce. So we're affecting our business plan, which was made back in 2004, developing the company as its predecessor, Canaco, and now East Africa Metals, to make these cheap, quick discoveries. So where do you go to find these discoveries? Well, you have to go to unexplored areas. Why are these areas unexplored? Generally because of sovereign risk. So we have made a business plan of stepping into these areas. In Tanzania, while they have a mining industry that's been well established, our discoveries were outside in unexplored areas of the property of the country, in areas that were not known to host gold before. And in Ethiopia, we walked into a situation where we had outcropping mineralization on the ground, undrilled, and we were prepared, having been in Africa a while, to manage the country risk and the sovereign risk, which I think we've done effectively. So the exchange is geological risk for sovereign risk. If you have sovereign risk, then your geological risk is probably pretty low, because these mineralization is obvious, and if you want to look at Ethiopia individually, our discovery costs per ounce there were actually $11 an ounce. And so, an order of magnitude less than you would expect to see. So this is how we've moved our mandate forward. It's taken some time. We've had to become effective at dealing with the sovereign risk, which I think we have. But here we have now coming out in 2021 with potentially 4 development projects underway, which we retain a 30% carried interest. So if you look at it that way, then we'll have the benefit of the profits from effectively 120% of a single mine, if you want to look at it that way, as you cobble it together with no capital costs of our own. So if you look at the value that is being input by our partners on the capital, that equates to basically be around $105 an ounce. So we're finding them for 30 and we're selling them for 105. And fundamentally, that's a pretty good business plan.
Andrew, thank you for the update. Hopefully we have time that we do another interview in 6 to 9 months. Hopefully we can do it in person. Yeah. I'm not 100% sure if we can do this, but thank you for the time. It's very early in your day, or it's early in your time. It's late in my time zone. Ja, das war ein Update. East Africa Metals. Er hat es, ich glaube, jetzt ganz gut zusammengefasst. Im Prinzip ist es so, Sie haben ja 3 Projekte quasi in Äthiopien. Ich habe ihm als erste Frage mal gestellt, gibt es jetzt Probleme, weil Äthiopien jetzt gerade quasi einen Krieg gehabt hat. Er hat gesagt, das haben sie relativ gut gemanagt. 4-5 Wochen war das erledigt. Was mehr Probleme betreibt, ist sicher Corona. Corona ist das Problem rein- und rausfliegen. Ich kenne dich auch. Jetzt, wenn ich nach Kanada rüberfliegen will, ist quasi unmöglich. Man müsste vorher 2 Wochen in Quarantäne. Er sagt, wenn er dort rüberfliegt, braucht er für den ganzen Trip wieder zurückkommen 1,5 Wochen mit der ganzen Quarantäne, 1,5 Monate für die ganze Quarantäne. Das macht keinen Sinn. Deswegen gibt es natürlich Zeitverzögerungen. Wie schaut es aus bei diesen 3 Projekten? Also 2, sage ich mal, mit den chinesischen Partnern, die haben in der Zwischenzeit natürlich weitergearbeitet. Dort wird die Minen jetzt parallel hochgezogen, nicht mehr in Serie, also noch nicht mehr hintereinander, sondern parallel hochgezogen. Es wird hoffentlich vielleicht 2021 schon das erste Cashflow fließen. Das ist nicht mehr weit, in 6 Wochen, 5 Wochen ist 2021. Also da könnte vielleicht Ende des Jahres noch was sein. Was auch extrem wichtig ist Exploration. Sie sind gut in Explorieren. Weniger entwickeln und Produktion. Das sollen andere machen. Das ist auch meistens so, dass die Branche so aufgeteilt ist, die einen können explorieren und finden was und die anderen können es in Produktion bringen. Sie sind gut im Explorieren, deswegen wollen sie sich auf das konzentrieren. Sie haben genug Gründe noch in Äthiopien, damit sie es explorieren können. Und das startet jetzt dann nachher, das startet im Jänner mal mit Geophysik und dann wird weitergebohrt. Das haben sie auch großteils schon bezahlt, das Projekt, das weiß ich, das hat er letztes Mal auch schon gesagt. Dann kommen wir zu Tansania. Tansania ist so, dass sie jetzt einen Deal dort haben mit PMM, das ist ein lokaler Anbieter. Sie geben 100% des Projektes ab und sie kriegen 30% der Produktion zu den Produktionskosten plus 15%. Das Government ist auch an Bord, damit sind sie jetzt natürlich wesentlich sicherer und die erste Cashflow soll relativ schnell einmal passieren, weil sie dort quasi illegale Miner gehabt haben dort auf dem Projekt, die Gold dementsprechend rausgeholt haben, was immer ein gutes Zeichen ist, dass auch wirklich Gold vorhanden ist und diesen Tailings, die da sind, der Abraum, der wird dort aufgearbeitet, weil die eine sehr schlechte Aufbereitungszone, also sehr schlechte Verarbeitungsproduktion natürlich gehabt haben und das wird dementsprechend jetzt aufgearbeitet, das heißt der Cashflow kann jetzt schon relativ schnell kommen. Mit anderen Worten, es könnte sein, dass in den nächsten 12 bis 18 Monaten bereits 4 Projekte in Produktion gehen, richtig in Produktion gehen und davon würden sie quasi sozusagen 30% der Produktion kriegen und das wäre natürlich für ein Explorationsunternehmen ein Riesending und sie wollen sich aber auf das konzentrieren, was sie gut können, das ist Exploration. So, und das ist eigentlich in der Kürze das, was die Company eigentlich so macht. Ja, das war ein Update von East Africa Metals im Dezember 2020. Andrew, thank you for your time. Good luck. Happy Christmas, we can say, and hopefully Corona will gone next year, and then we have not this traveling issue, and then hopefully we can see that all the 4 projects will execute in the next 12 to 18 months, and then we have a total different company in 18 months from now.
Thank you, Joe. It's good to see you again, and an honor to be able to talk to your viewers, and I wish everybody a happy and safe 2021. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, 2021 must be better than 2020. So,
but
it is easy to be better.
Yeah, good. All the best, Joe. Thank you very much.
All the best. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.